All right, welcome to the show, everybody. This is episode number 295 of the Iron Coop Fights movies. This episode is available on iTunes, YouTube, Google Play, and hosted by SoundCloud. I'm Keo, your host. With me on the show today are my co-hosts Emerson
Hey, what's going on?
and Everett. For those of you that follow this podcast as well as the Hot Toys one, last month at our monthly Hot Toys podcast, Everett made some comments about Gwen Stacy's boobs and her boob sizes, and the comments were pretty clear that they wanted Everett to be fired, and so Everett is off the show. um I don't know, what can you say? Like, couldn't happen to a better guy. He uh he's sitting there measuring animated boob sizes, I don't know, of teenagers.
Fantastic.
So so Everett's gone. It's just me and Emerson this time. And I don't know, what are we doing? The Flash?
Yes.
All right, The Flash. So we're gonna just talk spoilers because we're on a 40-minute time limit. I also have to go pack because I'm leaving for a week. So Emerson, I have some articles that talk about The Flash and more spoilers, but why don't you give your
Yeah, so I
opinion?
I'm gonna give it a draw. I hate this movie in some ways. And I it's somewhat hard for me to understand why, I think, but the CGI was hideous, like throughout. I think the plot seems to break its own logic a few times and it gets very confusing, but you can knock that down to time travel. It wasn't quite as bad as I was expecting after years of us saying this movie's never going to happen and Ezra Miller going insane and them doing reshoots. Um, I was slightly more comfortable with Michael Keaton's CGI movements than I thought I would be. And I think that's because everyone looked awful. So he didn't like stand out as being like worse than the others. Um, it was cool to see some nods back to previous things, but at the same time, like, where's Henry Cavill? Like, where's all these other people that I would want to see nods? It kind of made me want to go back and watch Man of Steel. Um, just to like remember that aspect. So it's a draw in the sense that like I can see why someone would be like, "Hey, this isn't that bad. Like it's cool to see this. Like we finally got to see that." But I would not tell someone like you got to go see The Flash, dude. Like you need to go check it out.
I give it a win. I enjoyed it. It's got some flaws, like some stupid writing and some stupid moments, and in general, like, yeah, it has flaws, but so do so many other movies. I had a good time watching it. I thought it was a little long. Um, the Michael Keaton aspect of it, I don't think is factoring into why I liked it as much. I think I had a good time. Um, Sort of like the ending was a little underwhelming, but I did go for some of the fan service stuff. So, um, yeah, let's get into the movie. The first thing is like, what were the people robbing at the beginning of the movie?
So I don't actually know. I think this might have been explained, but from context clues, it's Falcone's son stealing some sort of virus from the hospital
How do you know it's Falcone's son?
because he said that Ben Affleck. It was at the exact moment when you realized they had pasted Ben Affleck's face onto someone, which is
Oh,
why you missed it. But he goes, Falcone's like wimp son decided to try to break into the big leagues.
oh, okay. So yeah, they it's clearly a stunt guy. Affleck is only there. He even says that he only filmed like a short scene. He's only there when it's like, just like up close, him talking. But when he's driving, it's not him, and they've pasted his mouth onto someone else, and the mouth isn't even moving right when he's talking. It's like it
It's
doesn't look
so
right.
bad, dude.
Yeah,
And it's the same thing with like the mustache all over again. These people
yeah,
never learn.
it's really bad. Yeah. Um. So one thought I had watching that scene was like, Batman is doing a lot more harm chasing this guy than if he had just let him go. Like people are dying.
Well,
They're
the counter
shooting.
argument would be that like this guy took a virus that can wipe out like he says like if that virus falls into the water, it'll wipe out Gotham. And it's like, all right, well, you can't let him leave with that.
Right, but then maybe someone else should come deal with it. because Batman doesn't seem to be able to like catch him, you know? Like I know Superman is in Guatemala putting out a fire or something, but like I don't know if mankind is at stake due to a virus, can't Superman fly there in like 20 seconds and just
Yeah,
kill
and also like Flash would have been better to send after the guy because he could have just
caught up to him
ran
immediately?
up to him, grabbed it, and
Yeah.
left, and then gone and saved the babies. Um, that whole opening sequence was really bad. I
Even when
didn't,
Wonder Woman showed up, I was like, I don't like that you're here.
I didn't like it. And you know what it is? I think it's because it just it feels like it feels weird. Like it doesn't feel like oh it's shit, it's Wonder Woman. Like okay, think about in Marvel when like Tony Stark would show up or something. Like when he shows up in Civil War, right? It's very much like, oh shit, like he came, the character has arrived, these people in this world are now going to engage in a conversation. That's why he's here. He has a reason for being here. Wonder Woman is just like, hey, remember Wonder Woman? She's also here for a few minutes. She has that lasso of truth. Isn't it funny? Look at the things they're saying.
Well, I think part of the problem, and this is like down to Marvel versus DC, is like Tony Stark is like more of a person that's embedded in reality. He exists as a citizen, whereas Wonder Woman is literally a straight up god. Like nothing applies to her in terms of society. She has no place in it. When she just shows up, you're just like, why are you here? Like, where were you? Where did you come from? Where are you gonna go now? Like,
Yeah.
I don't even know who you are. You're a freaking god. Like, you you just showed up, and I think that is a problem. Obviously, Batman is my favorite, and he's the one that's not like that. But the rest of them are like straight up gods. I don't. I said to you before that I think the Flash's use of his power should be more uncontrolled and
Yeah,
dangerous
chaotic.
because when he can just do it, he's a freaking god.
Well, and that's the thing. Like you have Superman, he's a god. You have Flash, he's a god. You have Wonder Woman, she's a god. Green Lantern functionally ends up being a god. Like Martian Manhunter is
A god, yeah, he's
yeah. And then you have Batman. And he's like, I got
right,
money.
right. And so I think that's part of the problem is like they just don't seem to match. They just don't match each other. Like Bruce Wayne standing next to Wonder Woman, I'm like I don't get it. Um, but yeah, so Flash saves the day. I didn't like he didn't need to save like 12 infants
Yeah, and see that's the thing where like I
and
couldn't
a
tell if the
dog.
movie was trying to be I think the movie was trying to be like, "Oh, isn't it so funny and ridiculous?" but also like it's so dangerous and it's like it just takes me out of the movie cuz like I'm just like this is stupid. Um and then like he kind of was explaining like he's like oh I can't move with other people at full speed because they'll burn up from friction and like he even explains like I can move a baby in a microwave, I can't move a baby. And like I thought that was going to come up later where like he has to move someone and it's a problem because he can't move at full speed, but it never does.
Yeah, it seems to take a while. Like with the young Barry, it takes a while before his clothes catch on fire. So I don't know. Um, what else? So we see like a flashback to his parents and all that, and we never find out. This is a weird thing about the movies. We never find out who actually killed his mom,
Yeah.
and we never
And
will. I don't think.
yeah, well, in some versions of the comics, we find out like sometimes it's Reverse Flash, Zoom, sometimes it's like just a random dude. I kind of I told you this, it was never gonna happen, but I kind of wish that like he had to be the one to kill his mom. Like just how funny it would be if
Yeah,
like he goes back. And I thought they were maybe gonna do something like that with like, and that's why the other Barry is turning on him, but no, it's just like he's gonna undo what he already did, and oh god, the time travel got really convoluted very quickly.
um, I didn't mind Ezra Miller in this. I like the older Barry actually. I thought he was a lot more likable in comparison to the younger self, who's a douchebag. And
Well, I think that's meant to be the case.
yeah,
Yeah.
so I think they success like they did it. Um, I liked Ben Affleck's last scene saying some other time and all that.
Yeah.
It's crazy how this ended up. They would have never done this 5 years ago, but it's just so fucked. Um,
When it's all being rebuilt anyway, again. So
um, when he gets knocked out of the Speed Force, he has almost no reaction to the fact that there was another speedster in there with him.
well, I took it as he doesn't even register that it was a speedster. Because like to be fair,
Who
like
was it then?
well, that's the thing. I knew that like that's obviously gonna be another you probably because that just makes sense. And like everything the movie's shown us, I know there's gonna be two speedsters. I'm assuming they can't have two at the end, which means they're gonna have to fight. So like, but you could also very easily have it be like, oh, it's like a time being that doesn't allow you to destroy the time stream or something, or you're not supposed to be messing with the time stream. Like it could very easily go that way.
Yeah, I would still be concerned. Like, what the fuck was that?
Well, yeah, but the movie doesn't have time for him to dwell on anything.
Yeah, he's like, I got to get back to my own time. It's like, well, what if you try to go back to your own time and that guy stops you again? Like, he doesn't think about that at all. Um, it just also happens to be the day that he gets his powers. I guess what happened there with the powers is that the lightning hits him and that takes away the power, and then the lightning hits him again and reactivates it.
I guess, but I'm going to be honest. Taking industrial chemicals, electrocuting them while they're on you does not equal speed. It equals like just normal death. Like I kind
Well,
of liked when they brought him back down from the sky that he's just fucked up because I kind of wondered like is this how he's going to be the rest of the movie? Like he'll get the powers back but he's like debilitatingly disgusting, but no.
I was thinking that Michael Keaton would try to get the powers. Like he has the recipe. He could do it. I don't know that he'd survive the lightning, but if it gave him powers, then he would survive. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, that's what we need. Super speed Batman.
I mean, I wonder. Um, so we also see General Zod, who I
Yeah.
liked. I was glad to see Feora and Namek, but General Zod, when he returns, we talked about it before that he at first he seemed like he was phoning in his lines a lot. He's basically like, all right,
Theory
so
I've seen online is like he had to kill Clark in this universe as a baby, so he's like depressed.
whatever. His delivery of the line is like, you failed to prevent the Kryptonian, so now this world must die. Like, okay. None okay. You're talking about ending the world, man. Like, um, I mean, there's like a lot to unpack. The Justice League was weird. They weren't born yet or whatever. I mean, most of that seems to be just straight down to like who was available.
Yeah.
And so like basically no one was available because they didn't want to pay them to come be Aquaman or whatever. Like that's
Yeah. They
pretty much
got
what
Gal
that came
Gadot
down
for
to.
2 minutes and then they were like, that's enough.
Which is like, I wonder how much did they pay her for that? Because you could have paid her a little more for. She couldn't have beat Zod either, could she?
I don't know. She's a god. She's magic. Magic always counters Kryptonians, right?
I don't know. I
Magic people
wonder
tend to fuck Superman up.
where was she in Man of Steel?
Well, she was the same place during the Holocaust. She was just like not doing anything. Remember, World War One was bad enough for her to be like, I gotta step in. And then after that, she was like, until there was a bank robbery in 1984.
um, I'm glad we didn't see Cyborg. I'm kind of done with that guy.
Justice for Ray Fisher.
Um,
Um,
I didn't mind Michael Keaton being old, like his weird recluse thing.
okay, I don't care about the recluse thing. I personally think that giving him the long hair to start for him to just cut it is stupid. I don't like that. I
I
get that
don't
they're
like that
trying to
he had.
hide him,
I
but
don't like that he had more hair in this one than in the original. That is like weird to me. I would have rather seen him be bald.
and also, let's be real here. The amount of hair he has when he has the long hair versus after he cuts it, it's very clear that like if he grows out, he's not going to have like those long locks that he has when he's like fighting them in the kitchen.
Um, so they get into the Siberian. And I don't know if this is from the comics. Is Supergirl like trapped? Is that why she didn't
I don't know. I've seen so
appear
many different
before?
origins of Supergirl, but I said this last night. They never were going to do this. But if they hadn't fucking given away Supergirl in the fucking trailers, it would have been a cool reveal for it to be like, oh, it's not Clark.
Right.
Because I've seen a version of the Flashpoint movie before where they find Clark, but he's like a skinny, like,
Yeah.
like whatever guy. And so that was annoying, but like, okay, they find Supergirl. The CGI is not great. I like the actress for Supergirl. We're never gonna see her again, probably. Um, but she's introduced, given a motivation, changes her motivation, and then is functionally irrelevant within like 15 minutes.
I mean, it's not her movie.
I
But she's
know,
not
but
irrelevant. She died.
I know, but what I mean is like they get her out. They go back to Wayne Manor. She goes, maybe I don't want to save the humans because they tortured me or whatever. Flies away. Flies to the military battlefield. Sees Zod. Zod sees her. She then flies back to Wayne Manor
Well, she
and
sees
fucks
Zod
around.
killing people.
Yeah. She fucks around for like 6 or 7 hours with Barry, and then they fly back and the battle's still going on.
Yeah, that part doesn't make sense. But I did really like her. I liked
I
her
liked her
motivation. Like,
vibe and her acting. Her vibe and her acting. Like she had an interesting scream presence.
yeah, and that's the main reason we'll never see her again is because her tone isn't going to match with whatever they're doing in the future. She just
She
doesn't fit.
matches with that universe. She's got like the
Yeah,
darker, grittier.
yeah. I thought she was great. I might even get the hot toy ever. I really liked her. Um, so they pull her out. They give her this whole sun thing. She resurrects Barry. I mean, whatever. But I guess we. I mean, what did you think when you saw like Michael Keaton suit up as Batman again? What was your impression?
Okay, well, so first thing you got to understand that I'm not like the craziest Batman fan in the world. Second of all, Michael Keaton was not the first Batman I saw, right? The first Batman I ever saw was the animated Batman, followed by really Christian Bale. So when I saw him suit up as Batman, to be honest, what I was thinking is, God damn, like they're really just going for like put the name recognition and then CGI him to do whatever he wants. Now, he grew on me because Michael Keaton is a good actor and he didn't seem like he was phoning it in this movie. Like he seemed like he cared and he brought some swagger to the scene. Also, when they bring the original theme out, I kind of was like, all right, I like this theme. Like this is cool. And it is also interesting to like see him using his cape. Like it was cool seeing him using his bulletproof cape. I love that scene where he's back in Wayne Manor and he's like stitching his wounds and he's kind of smiling at himself in the mirror like I'm back. Like I
Mm-hmm.
went back to it. But beyond that, like as I said, the movie there was so much where I was like, what are they doing? Why are they doing this? Why did they do this? Like I mentioned to you, maybe they should have had lying in the trailers with CGI, and you said they can barely do the CGI they already have. And I was like, yeah, then why the fuck did they decide to have this final battle? It looks awful. I mean, the heroes look fine, like the stuff they're doing, not great, but fine. But everything in the background looks like you could do that if you were given like Blender assets.
I really enjoyed Michael Keaton in this. To me, it wasn't like the Batman is back. It was he's an old Batman. Like some of the physical things he was doing, I was like, all right,
Yeah, that's impossible.
yeah.
Okay, and by the way, the way he's moving with his bat cape at his age, I don't know what age we're supposed to think he is, but he would be like he would die. Like,
Well, he would die doing any of it, I
yeah.
think.
He
Um,
would have died when he jumped out of the cupboard. He would have been dead
I was
like
surprised they
immediately.
didn't give him more of like an exoskeleton type suit.
And that's the other thing. Like they could have gone like almost a Batman Beyond type route where it's like this is what he's doing now. But
I
whatever.
would have loved for him to retire at the end of this movie, and like let that be the setup for he will eventually find a new Batman.
Yeah, but no. He just gets like disappeared and replaced with uh Clooney, and then Clooney's never going to be brought up again, obviously.
I
So
love that. I love that it was Clooney.
look, it was cool.
He's not going to be the next Batman. Anyone who thinks
No,
that is an
of
idiot.
course he's not. But
I
I don't know.
love that they legitimized that movie.
I think I would have liked to see if the movie was going to be like a callback movie, which it wasn't initially, but then it kind of was. I would have
I thought
liked to
they
see
balanced it pretty
I would
well.
have liked to see more callbacks. I'm going to be honest cuz like we got horrible CGI Christopher Reeves, we got horrible CGI Nick Cage. We
I
got
disagree with you. I think that we saw way too much.
I wanted to see Henry Cavill. I would have liked to see a Batman Beyond type thing. Like if this is what you're going to do and we're not going to
That
see
would be
anything
like too
again.
far ahead in the future, though.
Yeah, but they're crashing with timelines from all over the place.
I don't know that like the timeline is different.
But the ages change of Batman in each universe.
Yeah, it's like, but Batman Beyond is like way in the future. I don't know. I don't know that that's how it works.
They could find a way to movie magic it in. I just am saying, like, it pisses me off that, like, okay, I don't have any attachment to Christopher Reeves. I
I think
don't.
it's
I don't
Reeve,
care.
not Reeve.
Reeve, yeah, Christopher Reeve. I don't have any attachment to him as Superman. So when I saw him, I was like, okay, I know who he is, but I don't care.
Well, I don't think it's. I don't know how I feel. Like, part of me is like, really, you're gonna like show his face? The guy's dead. Like,
And you have Henry Cavill, who is alive. You can't bring him back for 5 minutes.
well, I think that was more like a legal thing.
Yeah, but then it's kind of like when they don't show Tom Holland and Sony stuff, it's like it
Yeah,
just calls me back to how badly they fumbled something.
yeah.
And it's like
What I didn't like is Christopher Reeve. He's looks all weird, and then they added a Supergirl in there. Who the fuck was that?
I don't
Who's
know,
that
wasn't there a
actress?
Supergirl in one of his things?
I don't think so. I don't know. I haven't even seen them all, to be honest. I know that the last few are pretty bad, but yeah, I was like that kind of weirded me out that they added a Supergirl to his universe. Did she ever exist?
I have no idea.
I don't think so.
But I thought they were trying to do a nod towards the classic blonde Supergirl.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know. They just added a Supergirl to his, so it's like a completely different. Um,
I'm looking it up.
Christopher Reeve was supposed to play a small role in a Supergirl spinoff. Maybe
Oh, he
that's what we're thinking. Maybe they like took the actress from that.
Okay, there was a Supergirl 1984 film that did come out. It is the fourth film in the Superman film series set after the events of Superman
Oh,
3
that's later.
and serving as a pin. It does look exactly like her.
Interesting. That's weird. So that's who it was.
Yeah.
Wow. All right. Okay. I mean, they really went for some deep cuts then. Nicholas Cage got way too much screen time.
Yeah, well, because you could tell, like, at first I saw you like you made a noise when you saw Superman with long hair fighting a
Oh, because I
spider.
knew who it was. Did you know who
Right,
it was?
right. And I didn't register that immediately. I was like, I know this is something, but I'm just like, whatever. And then as the camera pans around, I was like, oh God, they were never not going to give him that much screen time because they wanted to be like, isn't this crazy? It's Nicolas Cage. Because the average moviegoer is not going to know that that was something that was going to happen.
Yeah.
So for the average moviegoer, it's just like, whoa, that's funny. They got the Nicolas Cage guy to do it.
So I have to give credit to DC again. Like they killed Batman and Supergirl on screen. Marvel would never do that, even if they
Okay,
were going to
they
immediately undo
listen.
the
You're
consequences.
right; they wouldn't do it. But what ruins that scene, in my opinion, is the fact that the Flash and the other Barry go back in time to try to prevent it. There should be four of them when they go back, but for some reason there aren't in those
Yeah,
scenes and so that was them
it
just,
seems
I
like
think,
there
being
should be four.
lazy.
Yeah,
I
I
think
don't
that's
know.
them being lazy and stupid. The other thing that, like, after that scene is done, continues to ruin it is when Reverse Flash shows up, declares, it was me the whole time, Barry, and then is neatly cleaned up in a minute.
Well, first let's not skip over Michael Keaton's like send off.
Oh, when he fights
He
Carmack or whatever.
Namek. He fought him,
Carmack.
And then as he's dying, he's like, "You already brought me back." He says this some other timeline, but he says, "You already brought me back." Like he's talking about bringing him out of like retirement, but
Yeah.
also like, you know,
You literally brought me back a minute ago. Just be done.
well, no, he's also talking about Michael Keaton coming back too. So
Yeah,
it's
I
on
know.
several levels.
Yeah, there's two or
I
three
think that's
levels.
a pretty good line and a good scene.
Okay, it is a good line and it is a good scene, and I also think
People
it's
ignore that shit. Everyone's like dumping on this, and I feel
okay.
like there's
Well,
this thing where it's like because the universe is being rebooted, everyone just wants to be like, "Oh God, it was so bad." Like if you read
yes,
the
we've
comics,
talked about this
people
a million times. People just hate on stuff,
they're
and
just
and
like,
and
"Oh my eyes!" Like
and
yeah,
it's
it was not
yeah,
that bad.
it's popular to hate on it, first of all, and also to be honest, this was about on par with most of the stuff that comes out these days, or better. So like, but the other thing is that because it's being rebooted, even the DC fans feel like they can shit on it because they're invested in this being a bad movie. So whatever comes next, they can say, see how much better it is, whatever James Gunn does.
Yeah,
Um,
I mean,
I
I
also
can't say
liked
that I care to see another Batman.
yeah, well, welcome to the world. I mean, I'll see Robert Pattinson's Batman. Like if they make a sequel to that, I'll check it out because that's
Yeah,
more interesting
I
and it's not
mean,
connected.
if I'm not
Um,
busy,
all right, go be quiet, Kia. You were saying that about the Flash a couple years ago. Look at it now.
no, I said I
Um,
was seeing it for Michael Keaton alone.
well, before we knew Michael Keaton was going to be in it, when they were talking about a Flash movie, you were like, "I'm not interested in a Flash movie."
Well, that's true.
Um, um,
I'm not interested in a sequel to this movie either.
Um, I also liked how Michael Keaton, like, I liked his fight against the Kryptonian where he is like using the bombs, and it's like, I was like, oh, they're gonna have him get killed again here, but it was cool.
But you're
We
right.
have to,
The Reverse Flash does show up and then immediately kill himself
yeah, and
within a minute, and that
like
part's not good.
that part's not good, but also like that's
But what
another
would you have done
paradox.
differently? Because he can't really show up. Is he going to fight him in the final
Okay, so
battle?
there's
Like,
two things you can do. Okay, the first thing is you could make it so the movie's longer, which is probably not the best idea. Okay.
yeah,
Or
it's too long already. Can't do
I
that.
would I would shave down the final sequences, like the stuff with his mom. He spends a lot of time like hugging his mom and his mom singing and like at the very end, or just shave down that opening sequence a ton. Just find a way to get another 10 minutes of the movie.
10 minutes
Like
is a lot.
I know, but I think you could shave a good amount from the beginning, I think, because that was bad. And then just whatever you need, even 5 minutes, get time back. What I think the final battle should be is the final battle should be almost like a three-way speedster problem where you've got Barry, you've got the younger Barry, and you've got Reverse Flash all like fucking with each other, and the time frames are like collapsing just as they're already being shown, but they're now all racing around fighting one another. And it's like you've got younger Barry, who is in opposition to older Barry, but also not as evil as Reverse Flash. You've got Reverse Flash, who's trying to kind of leave younger Barry alone and trying to kill normal Barry. And so like you could have like a cool little three-way, like everyone's running around like falling, and then it should be then an accidental, like maybe you could have Barry basically lets younger Barry go or something, or he beats younger Barry, and he's explaining to him like, I'm not gonna kill you, I'm like, you need to do your thing, I need to save the universe. And then younger Barry can come in and sacrifice himself to stop the future version of himself. I think anything other than the villain literally standing there being like, I'm evil. Ugh.
I think I would have killed the older Barry in the lightning strike.
Yeah, but then see, if we're going that far, then I want permission to retool Supergirl and to get rid of a lot of other things.
What would you get rid of? Why? What would you
Most of
retool
the
her?
opening
You said she
sequence.
fits in the universe.
No, retool her in the sense of like, I think that giving her more screen time and making it so she doesn't fly to the battle, then fly back, then come back to the battle would be better. Um,
Well, she needs to come up with a different reason to save humanity.
Well, it could be the same thing. She could be watching a news report of people like running. Hell, she could fly away from Wayne Manor, fly into Gotham, and see the damage that's happening there.
No, actually, all she needs to know is that Kal-El is dead.
Yeah, Zod killed him.
That's all she needs to know. And so I would have killed older Barry, and I would have had younger Barry, um, trying to help, and like Supergirl is on their side without them actually having to say it because she's fighting Zod. And then so he's trying to also help the battle with Batman. And then the Reverse Flash shows up in the time because he knows that he's trying to change things. Although that's what Reverse Flash wants.
That's
I'd
why
have
I
to think
think you
about it
need
more.
that's why I think you need all three of them kind of moving for their own goals. Because younger Barry wants to save the world, but doesn't want to undo his mom's, surviving. Older Barry wants to save the world by undoing the mom surviving. And Reverse Flash wants to kill older Barry to allow him to supposedly solve the problem.
It has to relate to whoever killed his mom, which the movie doesn't address. That's where it has to go, from like him fighting Reverse Flash in the final battle to somebody killing his mom.
Well, then that's what it should be. It should just be that as him and Reverse Flash and younger Barry are fighting, the three of them should start basically falling like through time because they're moving so quickly, and in the process, his mom gets collateral damage wrecked,
I think that's how it usually goes.
and that's what they should have done here.
Yeah, I still like the movie though. Like I think it was a fun time.
It's fine.
I
We
loved
didn't see the post credit scene.
I liked that he went to the grocery store and changed things and moved them on the shelf to save his dad.
Yeah,
I
which
like
is what he
that.
should have done at the beginning, but he never would have thought of that. So
Well, yeah. But is that what caused like Bruce Wayne to be different?
I don't know, or it's just that like he's fucking with other stuff potentially. So
Yeah. So let's, before we run out of time, let's go look at some of the articles here. George Clooney was a cameo.
yep,
Tamora Morrison's Thomas Curry. That was kind of funny. That was a funny part of the movie. Jason Momoa as Aquaman. Post credit scene, they've shared too many drinks. Arthur Curry's completely drunk. Barry's metabolism doesn't allow him to get drunk. Um, yeah. Christopher Reeve Superman. Um, that was kind of weird. Uh, hmm. Yeah, I mean, George Reeves Superman. That was interesting.
I didn't see that.
It was in black and white. It was like one of the first cameos they showed. Nicolas Cage's Superman overdid that one. Helen Slater's Supergirl. Yeah, I believe this movie exists. He does he does feature in photos. Christopher Reeve features in some of the photos of that movie, so I guess it is connected. Interesting. Um,
I saw him. Yeah,
Jay Garrick, is that from CW?
I think so.
Is the original
Yeah,
Flash? Yeah, he showed up in the CW. Adam West's Batman. I
I
mean, who
remember that.
knew? They brought him back. No one's talking about it. Andy Muschietti. Um, he steals his hot dog. Okay,
Okay, I didn't register that.
that was like,
I did see him though.
wasn't he the guy with the phone?
Yes.
I saw him and I was like, wait, what? And then I just had to. Oh no, he was eating the pizza.
Yeah, he was eating the pizza, but he was outside the courthouse, and I was like, I thought that was him, but then it moved on, and
That's
it was like,
weird. Yeah. Let's see. Um, which cameo? Digger Harkness, aka Captain Boomerang, can be glimpsed when the camera pans past some alternate Flash designs. Um, Boomerang was one of the Scarlet Speedsters. Yeah, we know that. I guess it was when he was running back in time.
okay,
I didn't catch that. Um, James Gunn explains how the new DCU will differ from the MCU. If you look at the MCU, there are very few traditional superheroes. There was never a guy with a secret identity until Spider Man. Their Captain America was turned into a soldier, even though he wears a mask. Iron Man outed himself at the end of the first Iron Man because they don't want to deal with the whole secret identity stuff. There's a bit more of a fantasy element to the DCU because there are these larger than life superheroes. Yeah, that's the problem. Clark Kent and Superman are two different characters, and you have to find a way to deal with them that's as grounded as possible. Grounded as possible? It is Gotham City and Metropolis and Star City and Bloodhaven and all these different places in this other reality. makes it a bit like Westeros. Okay. We're, I love that we get to create true world building in DC. It isn't just we're throwing some superheroes on Earth. Okay.
That is exactly what it
That's
is,
what they've
actually.
done so far. Yeah. We'll see. We'll see. The Flash's original post-credits scene was much different. Kal-El would have met his cousin Kara finally, or would have been implied that she accomplished her mission finding her baby cousin on Earth. He would have been an adult. Um, the Flash features Barry Allen traveling back in time.
This is just what the movie is.
That
I
was
don't
the
know
only
why they
different thing.
bolded it. Yeah.
I've read that there was supposed to be like Affleck sends some message saying "Find us, Barry," after he like fucked it up again. Um,
You mean as a callback to what Flash said to him in
Something like that.
Batman
Yeah,
versus Superman?
yeah. I mean, this I didn't even read this part, so I don't know which one is real. Um, uh, why didn't he adapt the whole Flashpoint comic? I can tell you, I read all the iterations. My pitch was essentially about the emotional core and heart of the movie. I knew I could do a superhero movie with all the traits, scope, size, spectacularity, but probably the most difficult thing was to provide a strong emotional story, and we found it. Yeah, I think he did. We didn't want to give the audience a literal adaptation of the comic book. I think that's one of the good decisions we made. Yeah. If you see the movie, you don't know where this is going. And as much as people would have liked to see that literal adaptation, I think we did the right thing. I think that they will be gratified. I think he's right.
Eh, he's right about some things.
Hulk Marvel Studios may have finally regained the
I
rights to
heard
make
about
the
this.
Jade Giant's solo franchise. The Incredible Hulk has suddenly been added to Disney Plus. So they're going to make a shitty Hulk movie now.
The rights reverted to Marvel Studios, so yeah, probably.
Yeah, am I supposed to be excited? Like it's going to
Yeah,
suck.
just consume things, okay?
Eight DC Extended Universe actors who deserve a second chance.
Oh my god. Okay. Black Canary, no, I'm sorry. She doesn't even register for me. I don't have anything against her, but
She wasn't terrible. Will Smith's Deadshot.
I mean, he was
Uh,
okay.
Jason Momoa's Aquaman.
He's okay.
I'm okay with a new Aquaman because I actually like Aquaman and he's not how I imagined him. um,
I don't need to see this guy again.
Yahya Abdul Mateen. He's a good actor though.
He's a good actor, but I don't think that like
Black Manta.
see the problem with this type of like these actors deserve a second chance is you're basically saying like in a better movie they should come back. And it's like, well, yeah, but I don't trust you to make a better movie.
Ben Affleck. No, he's done. That is over. He's like 60 years old. Margot Robbie.
I've seen enough of her.
I think I've seen enough too. It kind of depends who the Joker is. Like if they have that Barry Keegan guy, she's way too hot for him. Like that, that's not gonna work. Um,
Yeah.
Sasha Callie, yeah, I think she should be back, but she doesn't fit. She doesn't fit in like anything else. So, like any type of yeah, that's not Dwayne Johnson's Black Adam.
No, no, no,
I don't know,
no.
man. You didn't see it, right?
No, I didn't see it.
I'm not saying it's a good movie, but could there be a place for him? I don't think that like it's worth dealing with him
Yeah.
specifically, Dwayne Johnson, and that's the problem. Is but I think like the universe could have had a decent Black Adam, and he could have done it if he wasn't like kind of like, oh, I'm the new face of the DC universe. Like, no, you're not. You're Black Adam. Most people don't even know who you are. Okay, I think that's it.
Well, we made it to Flash. We said this was never going to happen like 5 years ago.
Yeah. All right. So we'll be back for Oppenheimer in July. It's like mid-July.
God bless Oppenheimer.
All right. See you guys later.
See you guys later.